Hey everybody, it's Jamie here, and this is Twin Peaks Tuesday on Jamie Hart. Before we get started on the episode, this is the season finale of season 1, which it's an outstanding episode. They call it The Last Evening, which in retrospect now I think I find very interesting because I've had this theory for a very, very long time that Cooper actually is dying after he gets shot. And everything we see after he gets shot is all part of his dying dream and dying wishes, even season 3. It makes a lot of sense to me. Especially now realizing that this episode is called The Last Evening. Why is it called The Last Evening? It's really interesting, don't you think, guys? Before we get started, too, I want to show you guys something that I got today that I'm so excited about. I can barely contain myself. So, back in like January or February, I can't remember what month it was for sure. I saw an ad for these watches, these Twin Peaks watches, made by Vannon. And they were only going to make 200 of each type. And so there was like a girl type and a boy type, I got the pink one, of course, with the donuts on it because, I'm a girl and I'm a girly girl and I like pink a lot. So I got this. It's in its box still. It is signed by Kimmy Robertson, which anybody that knows me on Facebook is going to understand why this is important to me because, and it's fine if I tell you guys this, I share a surname with her. So, cause my maiden name is Robertson. So, it's exciting for me to have this and have her name on it. And there's a possibility that we're distantly related. She did mention to me that she is from the Scottish Robertson. So it is partially, she could be part of my clan. We could be related, which I find extremely exciting. But here, I'll open it up. I'm not going to open the box. I'm not going to wear this yet because I'm not even sure if I want to wear it because there's only 200 of these. So I feel kind of like I need to keep it in the box. Anyway, here it is. It's very big. It's a lot bigger than what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be small, kind of like, like a Swatch watch. I have a very thin Swatch watch that I wear a lot. And I was expecting this one to be like that. But it's not. It's very large and substantial. And I'm fine with that. I like them to be. I've never had one like this before. So I'm kind of excited. And I like that it's got donuts on it. And it's just cute, James from Twin Peaks Coffee Time, he got the coffee version of this. Now, I don't know if he's got it yet. I wrote to him today and asked him if he's got it yet. I'm hoping that he does. So we can compare. And I don't know who signed his. I don't know if everybody's is signed by Kimmy or if there's anybody else that signed them or not. But mine is signed by Kimmy, which I like a lot. And it came with these cool little stickers. I like these. I might put them on my car. No one in my town is going to know what the hell this is all about. But I might put them on my car in the window. I'm not sure. I might actually just stick them in a book and leave them there. So we'll have to see what I decide to do with them. But isn't that cool? I mean, okay, so I'm a nerd. I'm a 80s mall queen, as Cameron would put it. And, for me to buy something like this, it goes right along with my personality. I'm totally campy. I'm totally cheesy. And I'm totally an 80s mall queen. So it makes sense for me to have gotten this watch. And I'm super happy to have it because, like I said, there's only 200 of them. And I happen to have one of them. So anybody who is making fun of anybody that was, purchased these watches, because now I've got it and you don't. All right, let's get on with the episode here. Okay, let me get a drink real quick because I'm thirsty. And I should say hi to everybody in the chat here. Hi, Phil. How you doing? Phil's my good buddy. Oh, thanks, Ben. I got that spring. It wasn't very expensive, really, well, compared to, like regular couches. That's a futon, and it's a nicer futon. And I probably spent more money on it than I probably should have, but I needed something for in here so I could get rid of that stupid bed that used to be back there. I'm glad that's gone. I really like the blue velvet couch a lot better, and it goes with my Twin Peaks and David Lynch thing. So, hi Brian, how you doing? Sorry, I'm shifting so much in my chair. I can't seem to get my butt comfy. All right, so let's go. It opens with Donna and James entering the doctor's. Hi, Orc. It opens with Donna and James entering Dr. Jacoby's apartment, and they begin to look around. And they find Jacoby's box of memory umbrellas with all the little tags on them that say, the different memories they come from. And they think it's weird, but I don't think it's weird. I would totally do something like that. I probably have boxes around here full of stuff that I've kept from. Actually, I know I have boxes around here full of stuff that I've kept from like when Alex was little. I have every tooth he ever lost. People think that's weird, and I am a little macabre sometimes. But I do. I have every tooth my son ever lost, and I have every note and every single little thing that Scott ever bought me, except for the jewelry that got stolen. Sometimes when you're in college, you have to live with people and you have to have roommates. And sometimes these roommates aren't the best people in the world. And sometimes they steal your jewelry and they pawn them off at a pawn shop, which is exactly what happened to all my jewelry that was given to me by my previous boyfriend before Scott, and then all my jewelry that Scott gave me, which was very upsetting. But Scott has made up for that by now because it's been 27 years. So. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to this. They find the coconut and with the tape and the necklace inside it, and they find it weird, but they also don't think that Jacoby could have possibly killed Laura. Or at least that's what I gather from the way they were acting. Then we cut to the gazebo, and Dr. Jacoby is watching Maddie as she waits for Donna and James to come back. And he asks himself, why did you send me to Sparkwood and 21, Laura? Looking at Maddie, because he believes Maddie is Laura. He gets hit over the head by someone and then beaten by someone repeatedly. And as this is happening to him, he sees Donna and James return to pick up Maddie. And he tries to yell for help as they're getting into the car and driving away, but nobody hears him. Then there's a zoom in to Jacoby's eye as it transitions to the roulette wheel at One-Eyed Jack's. That is fantastic. I love that. You definitely know that David Lynch was directing this episode because of stuff like that. Different angles. He takes everything from a different perspective. Hi, Sean. Hi. How you doing? You missed my whole watch thing. I'll show it again after I finish with the whole episode thing. But I got a very special watch. And anyway, like I was saying, it fades in to his eye and then comes out and it fades into the roulette wheel at One-Eyed Jack's, and it is a fantastic transition. It's what I watched Lynch for. He's got such interesting visuals, and that for me, a movie has to have good visuals and a good aesthetic. It has to have a nice aesthetic for me to enjoy it. If it doesn't, I'm not going to enjoy it. If a movie's ugly, take Inland Empire, for example, which I know Sean's going to laugh at me. I don't like that movie because it's horrible to look at. It isn't pretty. And normally everything he makes is beautiful. It has this beautiful aesthetic. It's no matter what you do, you can't get around the beauty of it. But Inland Empire is just has so much ugly in the beauty. You know, I see that it's him that did it. I see his framing, his art style, but I also see that it's not pretty. I don't like it. Yes, it's my favorite, isn't it, Sean? Oh God. Anyway, we'll get back to this now. Where was I? Oh, after they zoom in to the roulette wheel, they come out, they zoom out from the roulette wheel, and we see Ed at the roulette table, and it looks like he's, packing it in. Because I'm willing to bet that chunk of money that Cooper gave him in the last episode, he's spent on that roulette wheel. And that's not a smart idea. Roulette is really risky. You got a 50-50 chance most of the time, or something pretty close to that. I like the roulette wheel only to see if I can, predict what color it's going to be or what number it's going to be. I don't really care about the game so much. I just think it's fun to play just because I like to see if I'm right about the predictions I think up. He passes by Cooper as he's at the blackjack table. And Jacques asks Cooper if he's sure he wants to hit again. And he responds with yes. And of course, he wins, right? And he remarks about how his mom always said he was lucky. Very, very interesting. If you have seen season 3, you know that a majority of season 3 has to do with luck. Lucky 7, gambling, hello, and all that stuff. His pointing out the machine to the old woman who later on thanks him for that. A lot of reference to luck in these. And I'm trying to figure out why. He has a point. I've never been able to really figure out what his point is about luck. What is it? Some people truly are blessed. I mean, really, some people truly are lucky. I mean, I've been known to be lucky. I've never gone into a casino and came out empty-handed. Let's just say that. It's not that I'm trying to win or anything like that. And I prefer to play, slots. And a lot of times I'll play the penny slots because I'm cheap. So, but the last time I played penny slots, I put in $40 and I came out with $200. So, or over that actually. So, I don't know. Some people I think just have this air of luck about them and some people don't. And sometimes I'm not lucky. I'm not going to say I'm lucky all the time. I just tend to, I really like to play games a lot. And I'm a little bit of a risk taker when it comes to gambling. And it probably is the only area of life that I take any type of risk in. Most of the time I'm really, low key, and I risk assess big time about everything I do, but not that. I really I just point out a machine and I go to it. And I don't know. It's fun for me. I just love to gamble. Anyway, I was thinking about that relation to luck with Cooper, and I just find it really interesting. A hostess comes up and whispers in his ear, connection to Laura there. And you can tell that whatever she says to him, he's amused by it. He's got a little bit of a sideways grin. And he responds with, maybe later, thanks for asking. Wow, a man who thanks you for propositioning him. I'm in love with Cooper. I love him. Where was I? Okay, so he thanks her for asking, and then Jack gives him a smile and an eyebrow raise, which, tells me that, it's men talking to each other with their man talk, and I'm a woman, so I know, I've seen it. Cooper passes the broke poker chip to Jacques, and he tells them that he's a friend of Leo's. When Jack goes to walk away, because it freaks him out, of course, he says, I'm a friend of Leo's, and he says, who's Leo? And Cooper asks Jock if he can buy him a cocktail, and he agrees. Cut to Blackie's office. She's doing a tarot reading, which I find really interesting. I did not ever once notice that before. Never once have I noticed that during this scene, she is doing a tarot reading. And I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to pause it and I'm going to look at the cards and I'm going to tell you guys what those cards mean, because I have a book here somewhere buried. I'm remodeling my house, so a lot of stuff is like shoved in boxes right now. But I do have a deck of tarot cards here, and I have a book that explains what everything means. So I plan on getting that book out and looking it up and seeing exactly what those cards say. I find it extremely interesting. It's just another one of those, it almost deals with luck, you know. Audrey's brought in for inspection, and obviously Blackie approves. She has her spin around. You can obviously Audrey looks stunning, of course. And Audrey notices, she asks her to come closer to her, and then Audrey notices the monitor that Blackie is watching, and notices Agent Cooper is in the casino, which Blackie notices this, but Audrey's so good, she plays it off like, she's like, nothing. I didn't see anything. So she says, no, nothing's wrong. And then Blackie tells her that the owner is coming. And Audrey asks who the owner is. And Blackie laughs and says, no names, child. She spreads out a deck of cards and she tells Audrey to pick one. And of course, what does Audrey pick? The Queen of Diamonds, which I love, because that is a I do believe he's making a reference to the Manchurian Candidate. I do. I mean, that whole thing, Queen of Diamonds, was the code words in that. So, hi, Steak. How you doing? We cut to the surveillance van. Ed and Hawk are listening in on Cooper as he's talking with Jock. And Jock claims not to know Leo. And Cooper lets Jock know that he knows that Laura was with them on the night she died. And he convinces Jock that he's working with Leo and supplying the funding for his little operation, as he calls it. He tells Jock that he has a job for him. And he says, no middlemen, just me and you. And I'll give you $10,000. I'll give you half now and half when the job is finished. And he takes the bait immediately. I mean, dollar signs, like, you know, like the cartoons where the dollar signs come out of the animal's eyes. That's what it looked like to me. He was into that. Where was I? Cooper asks again about the broken chip and how it got that way. And Jock tells him the bite the bullet story. Basically, Leo had Laura tied up. He tells Cooper that she liked it. I doubt she did. He tells Cooper that it was the stupid bird, that the bird jumped down on her shoulder and was pecking at her and pecking at her shoulder. And that Leo came up, took the bird away, grabbed a chip. I don't remember how it broke. I don't remember how it broke. Darn it. I should have wrote that down, right? He tells him that he shoved it in her mouth and told her, bite the bullet, baby, bite the bullet. And this is a close-up on his mouth as he's saying it. And Cooper's looking at him with disguised disgust. But if you're nuanced enough, you can tell. You can see the little facial movements that show that he has disgust and that he's disgusted with what he said. I'm sure disgusted with it. The close-up on the mouth, though, another fantastic shot. It's genius. I mean, I love stuff like that. Give me interesting things. Give me interesting things to look at. I'm so tired of this TV aesthetic. That's why I'm so worried about. I mean, I saw the Halloween Kills. I saw the Halloween Kills trailer, and it got me excited for some things, but the aesthetic, it's so it's so TV. I mean, it's so like TV movie 1990s that I'm worried, I'm worried. But the storyline seems incredible. So I'm looking forward to the story. I just don't know if I'm going to enjoy the visuals. I do think though that this time they're going to build the characters up a little more. So I'm probably going to like it a little bit better, because I didn't like Halloween 2018 because of the way that all the characters were very disposable and almost annoying. So I don't know. Anyway, I'll get off Halloween Kills because I shouldn't be talking about that. Cooper then talks to the van and he says, got a trout on a line hook. A trout. More fish talk, catching fish, and that connects with the Fat Trout Trailer Park, which I find very interesting. I like to find all these little connect the dots because it helps me understand things better. It helps me understand where he's coming from. So then we cut to Audrey, and she's checking herself in a mirror, which, hello, in season 3, the mirror, she wakes up to the mirror in the face. I don't know. When I saw that, that's what I thought of. She can hear risque sounds and talk from the other rooms, and she looks a little bit nervous. And then we fade to Shelly in her kitchen, and she begins to wash her hair in the sink, sets the gun next to her by the sink in between her and the towel. Leo, and I know it's Leo, I assumed it was Leo from the get-go, comes in and he's pulling the towel slowly away from her as she's trying to grab it because she gets soap in her eye. And she realized what's happening. She goes to grab the gun, but he grabs it first. And then he grabs her. Sorry. Then we cut to Harry and Andy, and they remark on Lucy and how women are, because he's asking, Harry was asking Andy how Lucy is treating him, if she's being any nicer to him, and he says no, but they're at the warehouse or wherever it was. I can't remember exactly where it was that Cooper told Jacques to meet him, but Jacques shows up and all these random red shirt cops come in. I call them red shirt cops. That's a reference to Star Trek. If you've watched Star Trek, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The red shirts, they always go down to the planet with the people and they're always the first to die. So these unknown cops that come in, I always call them red shirts, just because they're unknown. You don't know their names. You don't know their characters or anything about them. They're just there. They get him, and then he grabs the gun. He grabs a gun from one of the holsters and tries to shoot Harry. But Andy's having none of it. And Andy goes into like a translate state and just shoots him. Hey, Jake, how you doing? Which I found to be fantastic because there's another tie-in to season 3 right there. Because when Andy, who ends up being a lot more of an important character than I ever imagined he would be, when he starts taking everything seriously in season 3 towards the end, after he goes into the White Lodge, which I believe is the White Lodge. Some people don't think it is, but I that's what I'm going to call it. Okay. He goes into the White Lodge and he gets instructions from the firemen. He acts just like that when he gets out of it. Everything is about the business, everything. And then it also calls back to the end of season 3 with Lucy when she shoots not Agent Cooper, but the fake Cooper, Mr. C, because she realizes he's evil. She does it with the exact same look on her face and the exact same angle of the gun and the exact same mannerisms. which I thought was an interesting tie-in because their characters are a little bit weird. They're a little, which we'll get into more as time goes on, but their characters are quite odd. So Andy shoots Jacques and then asks Harry if he's okay. Then we cut to Donna's house and they listen to Laura's tape. James hears Laura call him dumb and too sweet. He doesn't look pleased. He looks upset, to hear that. She remarks about a mystery man who lights her fire, and she talks about a red Corvette. So obviously she's talking about Leo. And all this time I've been a fan of Twin Peaks. It's never occurred to me that she actually liked Leo, that Leo excited her in any way. I honestly never thought about that. I'm quite surprised, to be honest, because it didn't click. That line, I've never noticed it or heard it or paid much attention to it. So, but now that season 3's gone by and we've been doing years and years of talking about this, it clicked in my head. And also because of the Secret Diary, I should have known better. Because she kind of says it in there too, doesn't she? Donna's dad enters and says he has to go to the hospital for an emergency, which is probably talking about, I assume he's talking about Jacques getting shot, but he could be talking about Doc Jacoby getting beat down, which turns out that it wasn't even the beat down that got him. He actually had a heart attack during the whole thing, which was, you don't find out until Doc Jacoby tells you this, but where am I? James tells Donna that he's glad that he heard it, that it makes him feel better, to know that Laura never really did love him, that he annoyed her like he annoys me. He annoys me too, Laura. Hey, Scott Matthew, how you doing? Just for future reference, no, I will not eat a turtle. That's gross. I won't eat a turtle because you asked me that on my turtle video. So no, I'm not going to eat that turtle. I love that turtle. I named him Turt Reynolds. And if anybody knows what that's a reference to, put it in the chat and you'll earn my respect forever. Because that is a reference to something. Calling a turtle Turt Reynolds. Let's see, where was I? They also ask Maddie if she's okay, and she tells them she's fine after hearing that. But she does look quite disturbed. We cut to the mill. Leo's carrying in gas cans to set the place on fire, and Shelly's tied up in there. And he tells her that she has about an hour to think about what she's done and how she broke his heart. And he's screaming at her as he leaves her tied up in there with a timer set to a bomb to set the fire off. Now, was he planning on going back and getting her? Because he tells her she has an hour, right? What's the point of putting her there? I mean, is it to scare her? Because obviously he's an abuser. So abusers like to scare their abusee, right? So was it really just to scare her, or was he really trying to kill her? Because I honestly cannot believe in my deep down in my soul that he would want to do such a thing to Shelly. I honestly think he loves Shelly, but is way too possessive of a person to be able to handle the love he feels for her, which is why he acts like a fool. Yeah, he's a fool. Then we cut to Nadine, and she's having a carpet picnic with drugs, and she's gonna kill herself, and she dumps it all into a bowl, and then she's got this pretty dress on, and I don't know, maybe it was her prom dress or something, but she takes them all, And then we cut to Hank and Josie, or I'm sorry, yes, Hank and Josie. He's complaining about his cut. God, I hate that guy. He's such a crook. And if I was Josie, I'd kick him in the balls. I think he deserves to get kicked in the balls. Don't you guys think he deserves that? I think he deserves, that man, out of all people on the show, deserves to get kicked in the balls more than anybody. I really hate Hank. I like how the angle because it goes like, the angle that Lynch does here is like an upward angle, and it looks like, because he's standing in front of the deer head on the wall, and it looks like he's got horns, giving him a very devilish or Baphomet look. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty creepy. I've never noticed that before. It's not something I would have noticed before, because, when I was younger, I maybe didn't notice all of these little nuanced things, but now I'm literally watching for them. So I noticed that, and I thought it was interesting, and I really like the filming style of that. He's blackmailing Josie. And then he takes a knife, he grabs her hand, he takes a knife, he cuts her thumb, then he cuts his thumb, and he puts them together like blood brothers, blood sisters, whatever. I'm sure, you probably, I don't know if you guys ever did it as a kid, but me and my friend, when we were kids, we cut our hands and we put it together. It was just something we did. We were best friends. We were talking, I was like, I don't know, 7, 8 years old. And we were talking, we were going to be best friends forever. And I'm still in contact with her though. So, but that also makes me wonder. I was asking the last show, don't you think that Hank and Josie might have some sort of sexual relationship going on? Because if you ask me, he seems way too comfortable being like that with her. Taking his jacket off, acting at home, the way he speaks to her. I mean, obviously he's an abuser too. But I don't know. I kind of feel like he's blackmailing her, and because he's blackmailing her, they're like sleeping together. I don't know. That's my feeling about that. Scott, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not in contact with anybody but James, and I have no idea what's going on in their chat room or anything like that. I haven't been a part of the Facebook chat for it'll be a year in October. So I have no idea. But I told James last week, I think that, Chloe's a sweet girl and she's doing a good job. It's not easy to rope those guys in, they're a handful, right? So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I know, Sean, how dare Leo do that? That's terrible. Oh, you'd eat a turtle just to try it? Oh my God, Scott, really? In a taco? Oh my God. Ugh. There you go. There's your $1 million idea. Turtle street tacos in San Diego. No, because Voltaire unfriended me. I don't know why. I was upset when I found out. I wasn't going to unfriend anybody, but he unfriended me, and I don't know why. But I care about him. Hope he knows. Anyway, let's get back to this. Where was I? Cut to the Mills accounting office. And Catherine is in there looking for her ledger in a frantic manner. She is completely upset. She wants to know what happened. She wants to know if Pete's in on it. And he shows up, and they have this tender moment between them. And I find it so sweet. I really think that Catherine deep down inside loves Pete, but she's just so selfish and self-centered, which is how come she's able to like take off and then come back, dress as somebody else for like a good half of a season and not tell Pete, which that's another, isn't that cute? I love that part. I can't wait to get there. I I don't know. I think that she really does love Pete, and it's obvious that Pete is just smitten with her. And I really wish that their relationship was just stronger. But Catherine, she's too selfish for that, I think. So she manipulates Pete with her, oh, come on, Pete, can't you just go back into the day when you used to have feelings for me and pull that up so you can help me with this. And of course he falls for it. And that's the wrong way. Then we cut to the sheriff's station. Lucy is impressed. She is impressed with Andy and his shooting of Jacques. They're telling the story like guys do, with their high tea manner, talking about, oh yeah, good boy, high fives and everything. And Lucy's watering the plants and she's listening and she is grinning from ear to ear, which I find adorable. So they're like, go ahead, go for it, Andy, go for it, go for it. So he follows her into the little coffee room and he shuts the door. And she turns around and she says to him, oh, Andy, I'm pregnant. And his face goes completely blank. And he turns around and leaves. And her face goes slowly from happy to like angry. And I totally understand. I totally understand why she gets angry. You do not want a man to act like that if you're trying to tell him something that important. It is not a good plan, guys. So if any woman ever comes up to you and said, hey, I'm pregnant, please don't go all blank and look at her like it's the end of the world. Try to reassure her that everything's going to be all right. Okay. So then Lucy's angry, and then she goes and she answers the phone, and she answers it in an angry manner. And Bobby is there, and he says he's Leo, and he tells them to check out James, and says he's an easy rider in code. Obviously, Harry gets that because he goes right out and checks it out. We cut to the hospital. Jacques tells Harry and Cooper what happened that night. What did I write here? Oh yeah. He tells them what happened the night Laura died. He tells them he got cut and Leo took off his shirt and gave him his shirt and to soak up the blood. And that's why, there was blood, Jacques' blood on Leo's shirt. He told him that he got sick and that he passed out and that he woke up outside and that they were all gone, that Leo's car was gone and they were all gone and he had no idea where they went. So he just got up, he left. They also asked Jacques about the pictures in Flesh World, and Jacques tells them that it was Laura's idea, which I'm not surprised about. And Jacques took them, of course. Then Doc Hayward comes in and he tells Harry and Cooper about Doc Jacoby and about what Dr. Jacoby saw. So he tells them about Dr. Jacoby having the heart attack, and he tells them about, what he saw, that he thought he saw Laura, that he saw, Donna and James come and pick her up and everything. We cut to Pete and Catherine, and they're still looking for the ledger. I think it's Catherine. Yeah, Catherine gets a call from Hank, and she tells Pete to beat it. And he tells her that the ledger is at the mill. And Catherine grabs a gun and takes off. And then we cut to the double R. Hank is telling Norma that he dreamt of her in jail. And it's making her extremely uncomfortable. And I don't blame her, because I hate Hank. And I feel terrible that Norma is stuck with him. And ick. He's a manipulator. He's a scumbag. He lies. I would kick him in the balls. Hard. I don't like him. Be careful if I don't like you. Because, I'm only 5 feet tall, so I can uppercut to the balls pretty good. All right. Where was I? Oh, then he starts making all these promises to her and tells her that he knows he's a screw up and that he's going to try and all these things. And then he gives her one slow, very drawn out kiss where he's very cautious and she's very cautious and they kiss each other and it looks okay. But you can tell Norma doesn't really like it. She doesn't respond. She looks nervous as hell and almost like she's trapped. We cut to Ed and he finds Nadine on the floor, OD'd. Where was I? Okay. We cut to the sheriff's station, and then Lucy tells them about the call from Leo, which is really Bobby. And she mentions hearing a clock and then determines that it's the clock in Easter Park. And Cooper believes her immediately because Cooper has that little thing inside him, that little sixth sense. And he kind of feels like Lucy might have it too, I think. Lucy does. She's pretty astute and she notices things and she's nuanced. I like that. Where was I? So Hawk goes to check it out. Leland walks in looking distraught and looking for info on Jacques. And he looks like, he looks relieved, right? Because he did it. So he looks relieved. And, the first time I saw this, I didn't know he did it, right? So I was like, he's acting strange. Like I always deep down inside kind of knew it was the dad. I just had a feeling it just seemed the most logical. It just seemed the most logical way or the most logical explanation to me. And don't ask me why, because I really don't know, but it was all the way he acted, like, jumping on the coffin and acting all weird and, sitting on the couch all angry sometimes. And the way he looked at Maddie and just strange stuff like that just clued me in. And I just kind of figured it was him. But, okay, where was I? Okay, so Leland walks in looking for info on Jacques, and Harry tells him not to worry and to just go home and wait it out. And he says, oh, I don't know what he wrote there. That doesn't make sense. He says he's going to go home, but I think he turns around and you can tell he has intent to go to the hospital. So they kind of show you that by showing you what he's doing behind other people as they're showing you Cooper talking to James. So James tells them what they found out and gives Cooper the tape and tells him about Jacoby having a heart attack. Or Cooper tells James that. Sorry. Bear with me, guys. Harry what in the heck? Oh my gosh. Hang on one second. I am live. I didn't leave you a message. That's okay. Bye. Love you. Bye. Sorry. That was the hubby. He didn't realize I was on. So let's get back to this. Where was I? Harry goes out to James's motorcycle and looks in the gas tank and finds the Coke that Bobby planted, brings it in and sets it on the table in front of James and says, "What's up with this?" Then we cut to One-Eyed Jacks. Ben is making a deal with the Icelanders and for Ghostwood. And while he's doing this, he gets a call from Hank saying that Leo is toast. And Ben tells him to proceed. So Ben, he's sending out Hank to do his dirty work for him as he's schmoozing those Icelanders. We cut to Leo, And Bobby shows up at Leo's house, and Leo is pissed and attacks him. And as he's attacking him, Hank shows up, all about timing here, and shoots Leo through the window as Bobby is like hidden from sight underneath the window. So Hank has no idea, that anybody else was there. He just shot. We cut to the mill, and Catherine comes into the mill, and Shelly's tied up. She finds her. Shelly's begging for help, and she's sort of making fun of her, which I never understood this part. Why would Catherine come in acting like, oh, big deal, some girl's tied up here? What? I mean, why wouldn't she just go and, untie her and just save her and be worried looking? Because she doesn't look worried right away. She looks like, what are you doing here? It's weird. It's a weird scene, but she unties her and they get out before the mill blows up, or at least you hope they do. We cut to the hospital, and Leland pulls the alarm, sneaks into Jock's room, and suffocates Jock with a pillow. And you don't know it at first that it's Leland, because all you see is a gloved hand, and then you see him sneak up, but then at the end it pans up so that you can see that it's Leland that's done it. And as soon as the alarm goes off, he stops, and he realizes he's got to get the hell out of Dodge, and he takes off. We cut back to the mill, and Pete heads into the mill. He shows up to the mill because the mill is on fire, and he heads in there because he believes Catherine's in there, and he's gonna save her. He wants to save Catherine. We then cut to One-Eyed Jack's. Ben makes the deal, finishes it off. They sign it off. And then he says, okay, we've signed the deal. Time to have a look at the new girl. Audrey figures out as he's walking down the hall that it's her father coming. And he says, expect what dreams are made of or something. Another reference to dreams, which I think is very, very interesting. But because she figures out it's her dad, she looks super nervous and super upset because she's like, holy shit, my dad's the owner. Oh my God. I would freak out too. Then it cuts to Great Northern, and Cooper is dictating to Diane as he's walking down the hallway towards his room, and he's saying that he's so happy for the quiet that's occurred now because the Icelanders are gone, and that he probably won't have to use those earplugs that he just received that morning. He gets into his room, and he finds the note that Audrey left for him when she took off. And I assume the note says, hey, I went to One-Eyed Jack's. It does say that, right? It's been too long since I watched the second season, I guess. He gets a call from Andy about Leo, and they go to answer the door because somebody knocks on the door. He tells Andy to hang on for a minute, and he answers the door, and all you see is a gun, and you see his gut, and you see him get shot twice, and it ends. And it says, to be continued. At the time when this show aired, they didn't know if there was going to be another season. They didn't know if they would be able to not con them, but, get approval from ABC for another season. They figured by leaving it on a cliffhanger like that it would help them get this. And they were right. It did help them. Leaving it on a cliffhanger like that was a genius idea. Just like the second season gets left on a cliffhanger. Although that time it didn't work for them, which is unfortunate. But, we did eventually get our season 3. So I think that's cool. But basically, that was the episode, guys. That was the season finale of season 1. And it was fantastic. And I enjoyed it greatly. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I'm going to go back up here. I'm sorry about the phone ringing. I'm going to have to go back and edit that out. Or I don't even know how to edit yet. I'm still learning all these things. So I guess I'll have to figure that out. Oh, what a funny little thing to happen. Let's see. Where are we? Gary. Hi, Gary. How you doing? Didn't see you in there earlier. Sorry, I didn't say hi. I try to catch everybody. James is not my favorite character, Sean. I literally loathe him. He's so gross. Ugh, ugh, I hate guys like that. You better give me a challenge because I need it. I do not want a guy that's so soft like that. It's gross. I like a challenge, so. Burt Reynolds, yes, Burt Reynolds. Turt Reynolds is a reference to Burt Reynolds, but that's not the answer. The answer is something else. Turt Reynolds itself comes from a certain particular thing that a lot of people will know. It's got to be the right people. You think he was going to let her die, Sean? It's possible. But he said an hour. I mean, he gave her a time limit. Why would he tell her to think about what she's done if he was going to kill her? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if it's some sort of torture tactic or what, but it seems to me like he was saying, I'm going to leave you here with this thought that you might get killed, but I'll be back for you. I don't know. I don't know. They never explain it, so we'll never know. We just have to speculate on that. You had 2 tortoises years ago? I love tortoises. I love them. They're so cute. My friend has these desert ones, and they're adorable. And she has like a father and then like a son, and they like walk together through the yard. It's adorable. I love it. If people are wondering, I don't know if you've watched my video on my turtle down in the pond, but I was just walking by the pond and there's this turtle. So I was like, oh, how cute. So I took a picture, and, yesterday I brought fruit down there and I left it by the pond for him to eat. And also for the goose, because it turns out that goose that's by my pond has a broken wing, and he got left behind by his gaggle. I think that's what they call those, gaggles. And I'm so sad for him. He looks so lonely. He just sits there by the pond all alone with his wing hanging. And it just makes me so sad. And I'm thinking I'm going to call like the Roger Tory Peterson Institute, which is it's like a bird institute that we have here. They do like a reservation kind of place or I'll call the Audubon Society or something, and see if they can come and do something with him, because I'm so worried that he's going to get eaten by a bear or a coyote. And if any of you follow me on Twitter, you know that there's bear around here because I took pictures of paw prints last weekend, actually. And I posted them on my Twitter and my Facebook. And it's no joke. It's no joke. You don't mess with the bears or the coyotes around here. And I'm worried. I'm worried about that goose. So I'm going to try to do something. I just don't know what yet. He tries to kill her again later in season 2 with an axe. I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. Oh, I can't wait to get started on season 2. It's so exciting. Let's see, where was I? Hi, Jess. Hi. Yes, it's Tuesday. I kind of don't like doing it every Tuesday. It's kind of getting on my nerves a little bit because I kind of like to be spontaneous sometimes. But I also want to keep myself on a schedule. I want to make myself and force myself to stay on the schedule, because otherwise I'll flake out. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to flake out on you guys. I already let you guys down so many times, saying I'm going to do Twin Peaks Tuesday, and then I cancel it for one reason or another. Last week it's because I wanted to get drunky with my friends who I hadn't seen in like 10 years, mind you. And it was a fun time, and I missed them big time. I hope they come around more often, at least the ones that live around here. A few of them don't live around here, so I only get to see them once in a blue moon. But we keep in contact, so. 'Cause 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 ' So ever since James came on your show, Chloe hasn't appeared on his. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I would hope not anyway. I don't. I have no idea what's going on over there. I miss them though. I can tell you that. I wasn't getting what over it though, Scott Matthew. I did watch that show and I did hear what you said or saw what you said. And no, I was not. I do miss them though. I do. It's not the same, doing things on my own. And I kind of miss having a little Twin Peaks talk every Sunday afternoon. It was fun and I do miss it. But at the same time, drama. So sometimes it's just better to break away from the drama. So, oh, yeah. I don't know about that. I love you, Chloe. I do. I hope you're watching and I love you. Mwah. Okay. I think you're doing a great job. So don't let anybody get you down. What tea? Was I talking about tea? I can't remember what I said 5 minutes ago. That's what age does to you guys. Age and Hashimoto's. Oh, that's another thing I want to talk about real quick. So, I'm pretty open with the fact that I have this disease, and I'm pretty open with, the symptoms of the disease. Rapid weight gain, rapid weight loss, depending on which end of the pendulum you're at, strange appetite. Sometimes all you want to do is sleep, and sometimes you can't sleep at all. It gives you brain fog, forgetfulness, nerve damage, joint pain. One thing it does not give you is psychotic episodes. So to the person who said that, fuck off. Okay? I didn't like that. I'm offended. Don't ever discuss my disease like that ever again. And if I find you, I'll punch you. Because I really did not appreciate that one bit. Not one bit. And I'm going to be totally upfront and honest about my disease with you people. Okay? It gives me a tremor. It makes me sick sometimes, where I get, nauseous for days on end. Severe pain. But it does not cause psychotic episodes. So just so you know, and never hesitate to ask me, because I'm totally open about my disease. And I think it's important that I actually spread awareness about it, because it's not a well-known, even though it's a common disease, it's not a well-known disease. And it sucks that I have it. And I really wish I didn't, because my life was a lot better before I got sick with it. I miss feeling free. I don't feel free as long as I have that disease pinning me down. And every morning I take a pill that reminds me that I'm not like everybody else. And that's hard. And that's not easy to deal with. And so when I'm telling my stories or my experiences about things that have happened to me in my life, or, maybe paranormal experiences I've had, I'm not lying. I'm not telling you stories. I'm telling you my experiences. There's no psychotic episodes. I didn't have Hashimoto's when I was little. So, it didn't get triggered till I got pregnant. So I just want people to realize, if you say something about somebody's personal ailments, be careful. Be careful what you're saying. And first of all, you shouldn't even mention somebody else's ailments ever. I would never talk about somebody else's illness ever without their permission and with them. So I just would appreciate it if nobody ever talks about it unless they're asking me a question directly or I'm talking about it too. I never ever want to hear something like that again. It hurt me, it upset me, it broke my heart, to be honest, because the person that said it, I would never have expected that from. And it actually hurt my feelings pretty bad. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. Sorry I left your comment up the whole time, Ben. Let's see what else we got going here. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Honestly, Scott, I don't know. I like Voltaire. I mean, we may not agree politically, but I always respected him and I always felt like he respected me, even though towards the end I started to discover that he actually didn't. He was saying some pretty nasty things about me behind my back that I found out about, and it wasn't pleasant. And I don't know why. I mean, I never had a problem with him as far as I knew. So I don't know. It's upsetting, but what's a girl to do? I hope he knows I do care about him though. Let's see. That's right, Sean. I don't take crap from nobody. You grow up with four brothers. You end up, especially even though I was the oldest, they're all bigger than me. You just don't take crap from people when you got to take crap from four boys your whole life. I mean, those boys taught me how to fight. So I really wouldn't mess with me. They'll tell you that too. They'll say Jamie punches with her knuckles, so you better be careful. I broke a guy's nose once. You know why? Because he was coming up. It was Halloween. He was dressed up as Freddy Krueger. He was freaking me out. He kept purposely trying to scare me. And we were in a very, very dark room. And I was terrified. And he comes right up to me and he's got this flashlight. And I said, look, dude, don't get in my face, because if you do, I'm going to punch you. And my brother was like, seriously, man, don't do it. And my friend Frank was like, yeah, man, she will. And he came right up. As soon as he turned that flashlight on, I went boom, uppercut right to the nose, and I broke it. And I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to do that. You know, the worst part was he didn't even know it was broken right away because it didn't really move. I just cracked it. So it didn't move and it didn't really swell up till the next day. And so it kind of partially healed before he had to go. He went to the doctor because he had like a blockage in there. And they had to re-break it. And he was like, it's all your fault. You did it. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you broke my nose. I didn't know it was broken. I had to go get it re-broken in order for them to reset it and fix it. And I was like, oh, sorry. But I said, you deserved it because I told you not to get my face. So, and you know, he's a cop now. That's so funny. Yes, I'm sure you do know who said it. It's somebody part of the community. So yeah, you probably do know who said it. No, it wasn't. He would never, I mean, he might have unfriended me, but I seriously don't think that he would ever be that rude. Ever. Ever. So no, it wasn't him. Yeah, I take depression pills too. Because when you have a incurable disease that the only answer is management, it makes you depressed and you start to feel different than everybody else. And I mean, it's hard for me. Plus, when I got sick, people were used to me being a certain way. Okay. Like I was the walking, talking phone book. I remembered everybody's information. You wanted to know something, you asked Jamie. That's just, that was my role. That was my role. My role in the group was, in my friend group anyway, was she remembers everything. And, she's dependable and she's always there. And, my friends didn't understand, okay, when I got sick. And I didn't understand either. So I tried to explain to them that something wasn't quite right with me, but they didn't get it. And so when I would just go places and I would fall asleep everywhere, I mean, literally everywhere I went on my dream vacation, okay, which was not my dream vacation, but one of my bucket list vacations to Washington, D.C. And I literally every single day had to go back to the room about 5 o'clock and take a nap every single day. I never in my entire life would take a nap on a vacation unless there was something seriously, seriously wrong with me. And it was right after that I got diagnosed. So they just didn't understand, they didn't understand it. And it made me depressed because I felt like I didn't have anybody and I lost my friends. And so they put me on, on Wellbutrin, and it works. And it also helps me not smoke, which I like a lot. So, that saves me money in my pocketbook because I don't smoke as many cigarettes as I used to. So that's right. Is this the last comment? Yeah. No. No. I was good friends with him not good friends. My cousin was actually good friends with him, and he lived by my cousin, and I knew him very well. But I was with Scott at the time. Scott and I have been together a long time. So most of the stories I'm going to tell usually are going to involve him in some way, shape, or form. I'm trying to. I'm frugal and I'm cheap and I'm saving my money so that when Scott retires, we can just travel, because that's my whole plan. As soon as he retires, my whole plan for the rest of my life is I'm going to travel, and that's it. I'm going to travel until I die. That's how I want to live my life. And I want to be RV people. See, I want to go from park to park to park across the country. And then when we find somewhere we like, then we can settle there. Chances are it'll be in California, because I went to San Diego and I loved it. I loved San Diego so much. I want to go back there really bad. No, I don't need to know. If he wants to explain it to me, he can explain it to me, but I'm not going to make a show about it because I don't care. I mean, I don't care why he unfriended me. I imagine it's because he didn't understand. And that was a major problem with, the situation is I wasn't able to express myself freely the way that I wanted to about a lot of things. And because of that, it made it very difficult to communicate with them sometimes. And I think that's what caused the rift, to be honest, between me and Voltaire. Not that he was, disliked me or anything, just that he didn't understand my behavior. So it is. Isn't it awesome? You did live there, so you already know. It's so nice. And I love how, like, there's these little families of bunnies that come out every night to eat. And they remind me, they're like squirrels here. Squirrels just come out here, and they come right up to you, and they'll literally beg you for food and stuff. And these little bunnies are just everywhere. And this is heaven, because I love bunnies. And I loved it there. And Southern California's weather. You just can't beat it. It's so hot here today. I want to die. It's so muggy here today. I want to die. And we're talking the snow belt. Usually here, it doesn't get very hot. It is muggy always, but it usually doesn't get very hot. It was like 95 degrees today, which is absolutely ridiculous for this area. And it was so muggy, I couldn't even walk out the door. Because it felt like I was just walking to a wall of water. It's just terrible. Oh yeah. Do you know where they hold that? I'm just curious if they hold that at the same place where I was, because where I was the convention center, and I stayed in a hotel right there in the Bay, and it was nice, and it was a really nice hotel, and I'd go back there in a heartbeat. Next year though, I'm going to Vegas. Whenever Scott has an expo in Vegas, I tag along. I cannot miss out on Vegas trips. It's a must. It's a must. Of course. Yes. I'm a very, very forgiving person. I will forgive people very easily as long as they have a decent explanation, and I don't like loathe them. There are some people who I will never forgive for certain things. If you've done something horrible to me, like stalk me and call my family, I'm never going to forgive you ever. But if you've, just called me a bitch, or, unfriended me on Facebook or something or whatever, I'm not going to hold it against people. I'm pretty easygoing about most things. It's part of my hippie persona. You did? So did Scott. Or I don't know, did you grow up there, Scott, or did you just live there? Because that's cool. You two both know about that place. How hot is it there? Is it like, I mean, I know you guys go by Celsius, but can you tell me in Fahrenheit? Because I'm such a freaking horrible. I'm horrible at math conversions. Horrible. That's so cool. I'm so jealous because you get to have street tacos every day. Every day. I need street tacos. I've been making them at home, but they're just not the same as the ones you get in the good restaurants down there. I love street tacos. Yummy. Yeah. Heck yeah. I love that place. You know what's funny? I don't know if they do this so much anymore, but the first couple of times I went there, we'd be walking down the strip, me and Scott, and we'd be holding hands, and there'd be guys just out on the street, giving out pamphlets for hookers, and they would try to pass them to Scott, and I was like, that is bullshit. And so I started like eyeballing these guys as I'd come their way, because I could see them standing there with their little booklets. And I would eyeball these guys, and they literally got scared and wouldn't give it to them. I loved it. That was awesome. I loved that. I was like, that's right. Don't mess with me. And don't mess with my man. What is that? Hypergamy? I'm going to have to look that one up. I don't even know what that means. Don't have a clue. I didn't leave to go on the other show. That's the misunderstanding that people have, I think. It wasn't about that at all. It had nothing to do with the other show. I could have done both just fine. It had nothing at all to do with that. It was just I couldn't take there was a lot of stuff that goes along with it that you guys don't really know about, and it's just I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore. It was just too much to handle for me. So I love them. I do. I love those guys, but it was a lot to handle. It was. So yeah, oh, yeah, but are we sure that's even really in Vegas? I mean, that could have been a set, right? Cameron would know. I've never really looked that deep into it, but it could have been a set. But I will look, I will check it out. I will check into it. And if I can find locations, I will do it. But as far as I remember, they were never really in Vegas. It was just all stage stuff. I bet there are abundance of loose women in Vegas, that's for sure. Sexy Irishman. Hot. That's hot. I know exactly where you dance then. Because I was there. Well, I didn't go. I just knew where they were, the Chippendales. They dance in the Rio, which I stayed in the Rio, and it was very nice. And I got to dance on the roof, and I loved it. It was awesome. Hey, man, that's awesome. That's great. I'm all about that. I want everybody to get their lovin's. No. What? No. No. Mm-mm. He's not my type. I love him, but he's not my type. I have a very specific type. Usually dark hair, dark complexion, sort of, Italian looking guys. Aw, I miss you guys too, Gary. I really do. I really, really do. But since you were in there for some of it, I'm sure you understand. It just got to be too much for me. I couldn't take it no more. That's right. I know you dance there, and I'm going to be looking for the sexy Irishman when I go. I'm going to grab all the girls I know, and we're going to go to the Chippendale dancers at the Rio. That'll be fun. So, do you guys got any last minute questions for me or anything like that? Because I think I'm going to cut it off here. I really enjoyed this episode. I'm looking forward to the season opener of the next season, and I can't wait. I can't wait. Now, I might do some of these that are not live. I might actually do some recordings. I'm not sure, because it does. Sometimes I do have a hard time coming on here on Tuesday nights, just because like tonight, I feel a little sick to my stomach, and I kind of have a little bit of a headache, but I made it through it, and I still am fairly peppy. Oh. Yeah, I don't need an upgrade. I'm good. I'm good. Do you really think that 27 years could a relationship could last 27 years if it wasn't a decent and good relationship? I mean, we have a good relationship. I love him, and he makes me laugh, and I wish you guys could know that part of him, but he doesn't like to put himself out there like I do. But my husband is hilarious, and my husband it has a very he's a good looking guy. So I wish he'd come on here with me because he does watch Twin Peaks with me. And I have said to him on occasion, you know, hey, let's do a show about such and such. But he always kind of rolls his eyes and shrugs. And I just don't think he's really interested in doing, I mean, maybe if I got the right movie or right TV show, I might interest him a little bit, but he doesn't like to put himself out there and on camera like I do. I'm not afraid of the camera, and I've never been afraid of the camera. So I don't know. I've tried. I'd like to get my son on here too, because my son, he knows so much about Marvel and DC and all those like superhero movies and stuff that I have no idea about that all that stuff. And every time somebody talks about it, I'm like, I wish my son was here to give me answers. So oh, that's right. You want to see my, okay. So I got the Twin Peaks watch signed by Kimmy Robertson, which, yes, it's campy, but I'm campy and I like that kind of stuff. So it's the donut one, of course. I got the one with the donuts on it. James got the one with the coffee, and I'm looking forward to seeing it because I want to know what that one looks like up close too. And they sent me these cool stickers. So I got a Twin Peaks sticker, and I got a Double R Cafe sticker. So I think that's pretty cool. And I'm not going to take it out of this box and wear it right away because I want to leave it in there. I actually might not wear it at all. We'll see. There's only 200 of them. They only made 200 of those. So, and I got picked on pretty hardcore in the Twitter sphere from the Twin Peaks community about getting it. But like Cameron said, nobody should pick on me for it because I'm literally like an 80s mall queen. That's how he put it. And I agree with him. And I like being called an 80s mall queen. Yes, I'm doing it all in order. I'll also be doing the missing pieces in between. So I'm doing it in the order that everything came out. That's the way I like to do it rather than chronologically. Otherwise, I would have started with Fire Walk with Me, and I don't want to start with Fire Walk with Me. Does he have a favorite film? I don't know. I could definitely say he's probably got favorite TV shows, but I don't know. If I asked him, he might say something like Goodfellas, you know, or Casino, something Scorsese. He might say a Tarantino film. He does share my love for Tarantino. But I don't know for sure what he'd say his favorite film is. All right. That's my son right there, guys. That's my son. You can come on and talk about anything, Alex, if you want. We could talk about music too, if you want. I know you like that. So whenever you're ready, buddy. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know what his favorite movie is. Did you? That's awesome. I just picked up the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood DVD. I found it at the dollar store for $13. So the Dollar General. I rated the Dollar General because a lot of people were talking about how the Dollar General sometimes has things that, you know, are like you're looking for, you know. And I went down there and I rated it, and I actually found about 5 or 6 things that I really liked a lot. And I'm probably going to make a video about it. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze, guys. um, yeah, his favorite film is. I don't even think he's seen it, and if I tried, he would get angry right away and say, "This is bullshit." Just like he did when we watched season 3, and it came to the sweeping scene, and he was like, "What the hell is this? What the hell is this? 5 minutes of sweeping? This is ridiculous." And I was like, "Shit, I lost him. I knew it. I knew it was going to happen." As soon as I saw that sweeping scene, I knew everybody that was like, not a hardcore Lynch fan was going to be like, ugh, I was so upset about that. Can't he do things like without doing that? I don't really understand the point of the 5-minute sweeping scene. Oh, you know what I noticed? We were watching Dune, and there is a sweeping scene in Dune when the ambassador comes to visit. I think it's the Harkonians. I'm not sure exactly. I can't remember for sure who it was. There's a bunch of like assistant guys like with brooms sweeping the floor as it comes in. It is crazy. I've never, it did register in my head when I saw it before, but it didn't. It's just something I didn't think about every time we would talk about it. And then one day when we're watching Dune, Scott points it out and he's like, "Look, a long sweeping scene again." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't even think of that." Yes, he has another long sweeping scene, which I find very funny. Dune director's cut. Wish it would happen. I wish it would happen. I really, really want. I'm looking forward to the remake, though. The trailer got me excited. I don't think it's definitely necessary. The parts in the trailer that I saw, a lot of them seem to be shot for shot remakes of Lynch's Dune. Like the part where he puts his hand in the box is just shot for shot. So I kind of don't. I kind of don't like that because I want when somebody else is going to make a movie, and a redo, I want them to put themselves into it a little bit. So I'm hoping that whoever, I can't remember who's directing it. I'm just hoping that they'll put themselves into it and not just copy Lynch, because I don't want to see a repeat of Lynch's Dune. I know Lynch's Dune. I saw Lynch's Dune in the theater, and I love Lynch's Dune on its own. But this remake, I want to see them do that on their own too. So I am looking forward to seeing it. And I do wish that a director's cut would happen. I do. Definitely. But okay, guys, I'm going to cut this off now. We've been going about a little over an hour and a half now. And I'm tired. So, and I have to pee. So, thanks for watching. Subscribe and like if you haven't already. And we'll see you next time for Twin Peaks Tuesday. Bye.